Tonight, you and I are going to keep each other awake. 5 allegedly true night drive encounters sent in by drivers across the U.S. Keep your mirrors checked, doors locked, and your mind open. Welcome to Night Fright Hour. Story 1, Unit 47, I-95, North Carolina. A long-haul trucker was rolling south past midnight. Dry pavement, empty lanes. He kept his CB on Channel 19 for construction alerts. Static. Nothing. And then a crisp voice cut through like a knife. Southbound at exit 147, shift left. Ladder in lane 1. Repeat, shift left. He instinctively signaled and slid one lane over. 30 yards ahead, the headlights grazed a fiberglass ladder sprawling across lane 1. He would have hit it dead on. He keyed the mic to thank whoever called it in. Copy. Appreciate it. Who's this? A clean reply. Unit 47. Keep safe out there. He passed the hazard, heart settling. A few minutes later, a new voice came on. Different accent, thinner, anxious. Any of y'all hear that? Got a caller warning about a ladder? He answered. The other driver said they'd heard nothing. No one else had. The channel went quiet. He took exit 147 for fuel and rolled under an overpass. On the embankment, his headlights swung over a wooden cross and a faded wreath zip-tied to the guardrail. The paint on the cross still read, in hand-cut vinyl, Unit 47. He pulled into the truck stop, skin crawling, and asked the clerk if local troopers used call sign numbers on memorials. The clerk swallowed, nodded. There was a trooper killed by a ladder spill. Right off this exit, years ago. Folks still put flowers sometimes. When the trucker walked back out, his CB squelched once. No carrier, no voice. Just a single tap, like a mic being set down. Since that night, he says he always checks his mirrors at 147 and keeps lane 1 clear. He doesn't talk much on Channel 19 anymore, but if someone says Unit 47, he listens. If you think warnings only come from the living, you might also believe every porch light belongs to someone you can trust. Let's head to a quiet cul-de-sac outside Cleveland. Story 2, The Last Delivery, suburbs outside Cleveland. A rideshare driver turned part-time food courier wrote this at 3:11 a.m. He had one last drop, a cul-de-sac with identical houses, porches yawning like teeth. The app pinned number 14, but the curb numbers were all wet and smeared. He parked under a streetlight, grabbed the bag, and a man waved from a dark porch. "Here," the man whispered. No porch light, no house number. The driver said he needed a code from the app. The man insisted, "It's for me." The driver checked again. The order note updated itself. "Leave at side door." That line hadn't been there before. He walked along the house. The side gate creaked open on its own. Beyond it, not a yard. A narrow alley that shouldn't exist in a cul-de-sac. He stepped in. The smell hit him. Wet metal, old leaves, and something like pennies. The bag went light in his hand. He looked inside. Empty. Footsteps came up behind him. Too close, too fast, splashing through puddles. He spun. The alley was suddenly shorter, like the walls had closed. He ran back to the car, threw it in drive. The man stood in the headlights now, soaking, pale, smiling too wide, hands open, no shadow on the pavement. The driver floored it. As he pulled away, the app sent a notification. Order completed. Thank you for your delivery to number 14. He drove the loop again in daylight later. There is no number 14. The cul-de-sac ends at number 12, and a narrow strip of woods. No gate. Addresses that don't exist are one way the night lies to you. Another? Signs that promise safety. On a road that hasn't been safe in a very long time. Story 3. The rest stop that wasn't. Northern Montana. A nurse relocating cross-country took the scenic route along US 2. Around 2 a.m., fatigue 1. She spotted a blue rest area 1 mile sign and felt relief, like a warm blanket. The rest area had 1 lamp and an old brick building with 2 doors. Men and women. The parking lot was empty, but the women's room light glowed sickly yellow. She stepped inside. No mirrors, just metal panels. No paper towels. And the stall doors didn't have feet visible underneath. But she heard breathing. A slow, steady inhale. Exhale, like someone waiting to be found. She backed out. On the door, scratched deep. Not a rest stop. She ran to the car. When her headlights hit the building, the signs read maintenance and storage. No bathroom symbols. The blue highway sign behind the lot was blank metal, riddled with bullet holes. She looked down from the driver's seat. Mud on her shoes and bloody drag marks leading from the weeds to where she parked. Then, someone knocked under the car, not on the window, from beneath. She peeled out, gravel spitting. In the rear view, the lamp flickered and died. The building was just dark woods. The next marked rest area on US 2 is 22 miles away. Rangers told her there used to be a service shed out there, abandoned since the 90s. They warned her not to stop on that stretch at night. If you're still with me, keep your speed up. The next story begins with a storm, a stalled sedan, and a plate number that shouldn't exist. Story 4. License plate 7XK913, State Route 19, Florida. A tow truck operator wrote this after a storm. He was heading back when a compact car began tailing him. Too close, erratic. He radioed it in with the plate 7XK913. The car flashed its brights 3 times. He pulled to the right shoulder to let it pass, but it pulled behind him too, idling. A woman stepped out, drenched, waving both arms. Please, he's in the trunk. He swung the floodlight around. The trunk was sealed shut. No rattling, no dents. The woman slammed her palms on it, frantic. He can't breathe. He called 911, reading the plate again. The dispatcher went silent. Then, "Sir, that plate belongs to a vehicle declared totaled in 2014. No active registration." The woman began to cry and pound harder. The tow operator moved closer, then noticed the rain. It wasn't hitting her. It fell around her, splashing everywhere, except her hair and shoulders. She mouthed, "Please." No sound. The trunk popped a fraction, though no one touched it. From inside came a hiss, like water trapped in a bottle. He backed into his cab and locked the doors. In the flash of lightning, the woman stood at his window, hair bone dry, face inches away, lips cracked. He's still there. He gunned it and didn't stop until a gas station 10 miles up. When he looked back, SR-19 was empty. A trooper later told him 7XK913 matched a fatal crash. 2 victims, summer storm, trunk jammed shut. They never located the driver who ran. Sometimes the night begs you to be a hero. Sometimes it just wants you to stop. Our last story starts with a broken down car and ends with something no report can explain. Story 5. Hazards on County Line. An HVAC tech drove home after a service call. 1:20 a.m. A thin spur off I-80 near the county line. Up ahead, hazard lights blinked on the shoulder. A silver sedan angled toward the ditch, trunk slightly ajar. He pulled behind it and turned on his flashers. Inside the sedan, no silhouettes, no movement. He approached slow, calling out, "You okay?" The driver's door was closed but unlatched. He opened it. The dome light flickered and showed a child's car seat in the back, empty, and a purse on the floor. The air was warm, like someone had just stepped out. Then he noticed something wrong. The hazards weren't reflecting on the road sign behind the car. The red blink lit the trunk and the bumper, but the sign stayed dark, like the light didn't exist in the world behind the car. He reached for his phone. No service. He decided to push the sedan further off the shoulder. As he set his hands on the trunk, it clicked and opened 2 inches. Inside, nothing. Just a spare and a damp blanket. Footsteps moved around him in the gravel, circling fast. Too fast for one person. Too light for boots. He got back in his car, locked it, and watched his dashcam feed. On camera, the shoulder was empty. No sedan. But through the windshield, the hazards still blinked, slow as a heartbeat. A knock rattled his passenger window. Once, twice, 3 times, timed to the hazards. He turned, heart in his throat. No one there. The 3rd knock sounded again, from his trunk. He floored it. The hazards followed in his rear view until the county sign. Then they winked out like wet matches. In daylight, he checked the dash cam. Clean shoulder, no car, no lights. Highway Patrol said thieves used decoy cars in the early 2000s out there. But that spur was straightened and widened years ago. No shoulder where he swore he'd pulled over. He still won't stop for hazard lights unless a marked cruiser is already there. If you made it this far, you kept the lane with me through exits, storms, and places that don't quite exist anymore. 5 alleged encounters. 5 chances to learn the same rule. At night, the road will ask you for a favor. It will beckon with a porch light, a rest area sign, a pair of hazard lights, or a voice that knows your mile marker. Do what you must to survive, but never assume you're the only one traveling. Send your true or claimed true encounter to be featured in a future episode. Subscribe to Night Fright Hour. Keep your notifications on, and meet me back here after dark. This was Night Fright Hour. Keep your lights on. Keep your doors locked. And when the road asks you to stop, make sure you're stopping for the living.